Athletes are turning to OnlyFans? Oh boy. A growing number of world class athletes are turning to OnlyFans. Yes, the same site long associated with adult content. According to the Daily Mail, the reasons range from financial pressures to creative control. Take 22-year-old canoeist Kurtz Adams Rosenthal's, once a world silver medalist. He was suspended from Team GB after posting sexually explicit material. Yet he says he earned six figures in just 8 months, admitting, "On my first day, I made $3,250. Living on what I was living as a professional athlete was very hard." Not all athletes are selling provocative content. England cricketer Tymon Mills uses his page for bowling tutorials, charging less than $5 a session. He told the paper, "It has to be family friendly. My wife knows what I'm up to." Former Olympic stars like diver Jack Laher and speed skater Elise Christie have also joined. Christie, who battled debt and mental health struggles, said, "With OnlyFans, it has helped pick me up out of a dark place." The site is now valued at $7.8 billion, is actively recruiting athletes, and reports suggest footballers, meaning soccer players for those of us in America, footballers will be next. Okay, so what's the real message here? OnlyFans, most people think of it as a place where a lot of sleazy, nasty things going on, and it's really personalized pornography and prostitution at some level. It's expanding, it's making itself available to really anyone who has a following, expertise, or fans, and selling direct access to the fans. That's neither good nor bad. That is just a technology. That's the world we live in. And you may think that you like a particular cable outlet. That cable outlet or that hotel company might be making money from porn too. It's everywhere. I don't know how to get rid of it, but it's a part of our current economic reality. Let's dig a little deeper. It's a sort of a bizarre thing for a lot of athletes in that their friends and family think, "Oh, you're a star athlete, you must be rich," because we think of star football players, soccer players, basketball players, baseball players, some of them making hundreds of millions of dollars in contracts, some of them more than $1 billion over a lifetime. Yet if you're an Olympic athlete, if you're a rower, a canoeer, archery, you don't make any money or very, very little money. And yet you spend all of your time being the best in the world. You have that brief moment, perhaps getting a gold medal, a silver medal. And then for many people, it's starting life over with no demonstrable skills. Quite often, they don't have higher education, sometimes without a social life or strong mental health, because they've been 100% focused on being the best in the world at one particular sport. And it does leave a lot of people very empty. I am quite empathetic to their plight. I know I've met gold medal Olympians before working at hotels as a clerk, making very low wages. They're trying to figure out the next stage of their life. Now we do have a situation where they can monetize. I was intrigued in this article from the Times profiling the speed skater who says she was suffering mental illness, making money on OnlyFans helped to take her out of a dark place because it solved some financial troubles. And I can certainly understand it's better not to have financial troubles. It's easier to be depressed if you don't know how you're going to pay for your rent and you're worried about being homeless. But if so much of your interaction with humanity is people asking you to take your clothes off or to do things to your own body or to simulate things you'd rather only do with someone you love, I think that takes a toll on your psyche as well. And that just strikes me as highly corrosive. None of you have ever asked me to take my shirt off, nor would you want that. So it's something you could say I don't really have the ability to relate to very well. And I'll just cough up to that. Guilty as charged. But I am sympathetic to people who have worked hard to become well known in something, and they see everyone else in our pop culture who's famous seems to be making money, and they're asking, why am I not getting a piece of the pie? Where's mine? And so they are turning to OnlyFans. The technology is making it available. There's tremendous pressure, I think, on athletes. And I haven't spent any time on OnlyFans. No offense to that site, or if any of you do. But I can only imagine if you are an attractive, good-looking young woman athlete and you go and you think people are coming to pay to learn my skills on marksmanship, and they want to pay for private meetings. And next thing you know, they're begging or demanding or offering more money for you to take all your clothes off. That just seems corrosive to me. Am I suggesting it should be outlawed or illegal? No. But is this something I would want to encourage a family member to do? No. Is this something that I think really helps most people build a longer term career? No. I think it's a bit short sighted for people. If you are an athlete and you want to teach people and you want to monetize it, make an online course. There are thousands of platforms out there where you can make money. I mean, I think Andrew Agassi has a course on Udemy, the platform where I have most of my students and where some of you know me from. So make an online course. There's Cameo, where you can be paid by your fans to say hello. So I'm just not sure why you want to be associated with a site that involves you taking off your clothes and overtly doing sexual things. Although I understand not everybody on OnlyFans does that. And perhaps they have a great way of marketing more people for you and getting you out there. I don't know. I spotlighted this because I do think it's important for all of us to realize how the modern world changes, the modern media world changes, on all the different ways of making money. My caveat to you athletes thinking of making the quick buck by going on OnlyFans is this potentially damaging your long-term brand and harming you from getting other sponsorship deals, advertising deals, partnerships, joint ventures. Because if you are an athlete in a sport that isn't one of the big TV sports, you're not a soccer player, football player, basketball, baseball, but you're in something that does interest people and you have some modicum of fame, why not start a podcast? With a podcast, audio and video, there are just numerous ways you can monetize that for a long, long time. And even though he didn't bill himself as a podcaster, Howard Stern was a podcaster before podcasting started. He's a guy who just talks in a microphone about all sorts of chit chat and interviews people. That's what podcasters do. And here's Howard Stern with a career of half a century. And now that he's in his 70s, no one's asking him to take his clothes off. He's still making a lot of money. He's made more than $1 billion at this point. So I would ask you, if you are an athlete, think about the long term and all the ways you can potentially monetize your expertise and your fame and your knowledge over the long haul. And ideally that happens, when you're young and attractive, but when you're 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. So many of the top football and soccer analysts are doing that when they are in their 60s and 70s and 80s. As long as you can talk, you can be compelling and interesting to someone, and there are ways of monetizing that. So my only career strategy for you is just really think seriously about diving into something involving a business that's primarily known as pornography. Now, the line has changed. It changes all the time. There used to be a time when if you were in any sort of pornographic magazine, it was scandalous and your career was over. And then Hugh Hefner brilliantly got Marilyn Monroe in his first edition, and that kind of destigmatized posing nude. And a lot of wildly successful people who have huge contracts with major corporations have posed in Playboy, and it didn't hurt their career. It actually helped their career. So the line changes all the time. I just wanted to put a spotlight on this so that you're aware of it, because it would not have occurred to me. I'm not encouraging all of you to necessarily go on that site, but who knows? I mean, according to this, there are people who just teach canoeing tips and are making money from it. So we may have to look into it.